Today on Community Connections, we're going to talk about the nicest building in Long Branch, the public library. I have with me today Tonya Garcia, what is your?
Director.
Director of the Long Branch Public Library. I was going to say executive director or head librarian.
Director.
Director.
Yes.
Now, I just called it the nicest building. I should have said buildings because there's two of them. But it's not about the building, about the people.
It's not just about the building, right? It's about the people and the staff and all the services and materials that we provide. Yes.
Now, the staff, you have how many people working there?
23 staff members.
Wow. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yes, 23.
But it's really, in the last couple of years, it's been an explosion of innovative programs.
Yes, yes. The year of innovation is what I call it. Yes.
Tell me about some of them.
Well, we started in 2013. I became director in 2013. I guess to give you a little bit of background about the position, I've worked at the Long Branch Public Library for 12 years. I started as a part-time computer monitor, and from there just worked through different various positions.
Mediocre rise to the top.
But yeah,
a little bit of education mixed in.
A lot, yeah. A lot of education and a lot of mentoring. And finally became director in 2013. I was interim director for about 7 months, which I call the longest job interview I've ever had. And so
worked out well?
It did. It worked out well. It's profoundly rewarding to work in a city where you raised your sons, they graduated high school, and you get to work with that community every day and change their lives. So it's profoundly rewarding in that matter. So I became director in 2013. And right away, right from the beginning, I had a staff meeting and I called it the Big Audacious Goals Meeting. And I said, I don't want to panic anyone, but we're going to become the best library we can be and one of the best libraries in the state. And we were already heading that way. We had an abundance of new services and model programs already. So we were heading that way and we just wanted to kick it up a notch, and we started our
Now there was a point where when somebody said the library's not just about books, they were probably referring to back in the days when you rented tapes, VCRs, and maybe records or CDs by then. But now it's not remotely just about that.
No, not at all.
You've got programs that there's probably nobody, I don't know of any other city public library that has the programs you do.
What's unique about our library is that we have the ability to provide the services almost instantly, within reason, to triage a situation and create a program or a service that's going to almost immediately meet the needs of the community. And that makes Long Branch unique, is that we have that support.
Now, one of the newest, and you use the word profoundly affect, or the words, the high school diploma program.
Yes. That came about in our year of innovation. The high school diploma program was a first of its kind grant program in the nation. So this is the first time that a state library has offered this grant to public libraries. One of 6 in New Jersey was selected. And I put together a team of grant writers on our staff. Lisa Kelly and Janet Burkhead and Kate Angelo worked very hard on this for me. And as soon as it launched, I knew I wanted it for our community. I myself left high school in 9th grade.
Okay. You now have a master's.
Have a master's and currently pursuing a doctorate online from Capella University.
Okay.
So, yes.
Education's important.
Education was key.
Right.
And I wanted to, personally bring that back to the community, because knowing the trials of not having that education and then the difference and how your life opens up once you do. I wanted to bring that to Long Branch, and we worked so hard on this grant, and we got it. We got it from the state library.
How much? How much money? Is
Well, it's not actually it doesn't have a monetary price on it. You know, they didn't give us funding, but what they did do was provide us with 15 scholarships to the program. So 15 students, and we do have 15 scholarships now. We've given them out to not only residents of Long Branch, but we opened it up, because there was only 6, we opened it up regional. So Neptune Public Library helped us promote the program, Red Bank Public Library. We do have 1 student coming from Neptune, but primarily most of them are from Long Branch. And the stories are varied as to why they applied for these scholarships. We interviewed, and then we matched the student with the scholarship.
Okay.
So they're all enrolled right now.
And what do they do? Do they come to the library to do their schoolwork?
It's entirely an online program, a fully accredited online program through Cengage. And what the State Library does is offer resources like laptops. We were able to provide laptops for students that did not have it. We provide Wi-Fi access, which the library does anyway. And what's unique about, I think, our grant application was that we decided to add extra support, like a wraparound program, to ensure that students were going to get through it. Because if they didn't get through it the first time, then the chances are they needed a little bit more support.
How long does the program take? We're not talking you're taking 4 years worth of classes.
No.
Is it about studying for the equivalent of a GED?
No, it's actually a full high school program, so you would get your math classes, your English classes, your science classes. But what happens is they take your transcripts in from whatever high school you attended, if you did, and then they'll put those transcripts into the classes. So you won't, you know, they're all varying times. Some are going to graduate before others. I think we have 1 very close to graduating now.
Of the 15 who started, how many are
Yes.
still involved?
All 15 are enrolled.
Nobody's left.
Nobody's left. Well, 1 actually, when we offered the scholarship, got a full-time job and called us and said, I won't be able to start because I have a full-time job. Can you provide it to someone else? So he did call before he actually was enrolled. But
That's fair.
As
long as you call first.
Yes. And we stress that when we do the interviews. We stress that, you know, we really want you to succeed. If for any reason you can't succeed in the program, if there's something, if you need a tutor, anything we can provide, we'll try our best to get it for you. And we've also linked them. We have community members that have volunteered to be mentors in the field that they select, because it is, you also get a career certificate. So we matched the student with a Long Branch community member as a mentor.
So you've got people in the community involved making
Yes.
this work.
Yes.
Now, one of the other programs that, particularly with what's going on in the country now, I mean, people with a criminal record can come in, and there's programs to help them find employment.
Absolutely. Another innovative program that we were just recognized for, actually, by the State Library. We were 1 of 3 to receive their award, their 2014 Innovation Award for creative programming.
Where's that word again?
Innovation. And that was through the State Library, and they did give us the award for the Fresh Start program. And that program has been recognized nationally. We were invited to Washington, D.C. to participate in a conference on disparities of treatment for youth and men of color. And I was invited to, we did the League of Municipalities Conference with Governor McGreevey and Mayor Baraka from Newark. Participated in that with them. We talked about the Fresh Start program as well.
How does that work?
The Fresh Start program was launched in 2010. It was after we had created the Back to Work initiative, which helped people that were unemployed or underemployed. So it kind of phased from that program, and that was another grant program.
What gave you the idea, if it was yours or whoever
Okay.
it was, the idea that the library, which I suspect a lot of people listening think of, that's where I go to get books for free,
Yes.
becomes a place to find social services and employment help and resources, you know, for chronically underemployed people?
What I think sparked this idea was, and I can remember it very clearly, before the recession was even identified as a recession, I was working in the computer lab, and more and more people were coming and filling out job applications online, unemployment applications, and I was sensing that there was something happening bigger than we knew or could identify. And so once that increased, I went to the director and I said, you know, I think we have a situation here. I'm not sure what it is, but we need to start creating these programs to get people back to work. And that's how we launched the Back to Work initiative. The State Library then offered us a grant to apply for. We received $40,000 for this program, and we launched the Back to Work
Were other libraries doing something similar?
Not at that time. Now it is almost a staple. You will find it in almost every library, but we were invited throughout the state to offer this program and give trainings on how we did it.
You know, one of the things, and this goes back years ago, the internet was starting to get into most houses, which means we're talking not quite 20 years ago. But there's still a lot of people in Long Branch, they're not going to have a computer, they're not going to have a high-speed internet.
Yep.
They come to you.
They come to us. 36,000 people came to us last year just to use the Wi-Fi. I mean, just to use our computers or Wi-Fi.
Now, every time, I'm not in the main branch that often. I go to the Elberon branch because I go past the Elberon branch without exaggeration 4 to 6 times a day.
Great.
But back and forth to work, back and forth taking my daughter to school and whenever else. And there's a couple of computers there. They're not in use full time.
Right.
I mean, there's normally somebody on them, but it's not like 4 people on the line.
Right.
I go into the main branch, there is a crowd of people on them every time I'm there, and there are people waiting to use them.
Absolutely, yes. And we just brought the public computers upstairs. So our public computer use this year, we had 36,000 last year. It's already up 44%.
Wow. Now, what do you need, if I walk in and what do I need to get on a computer?
You just need some form of ID for a guest pass if you don't have a library card.
Library card's the first thing.
The library card's the first
only
thing.
requirement there is got to live in Long Branch.
Got to live in Long Branch. And if you do not have ID, some people that live in Long Branch, you know, we're not about barriers. We don't want barriers. And so if you don't have an ID, we have a postcard at the library, at the desk. You fill out your name and address. We mail it to you. And if you get it back and you can show us that you live in Long Branch, you get your library card for free.
Make it pretty easy.
We make it as easy as possible.
Now, that helps tell a story. Everybody knows we have people in Long Branch without documentation.
Yes.
Now, I got actually not scolded, but during doing one of these shows a couple of years ago, somebody once told me, "There's nobody who's illegal; they're undocumented." But we have people in Long Branch who are from other countries who don't have proper documentation. Right. They can get a library card.
They can get a library card, yes.
And they can come in. And I think it is. I wasn't joking, the nicest building in Long Branch as far as they're concerned. Yeah. Not threatening.
Non-threatening to a lot of people, yes.
And what kind of services do they find?
Well, we have a world languages section. We now have an ESL, a Learn English section. We provide Learn English classes, and now through Jewish and Family Services, we offer citizenship classes, which amazing to say that 9 of the students have become U.S. citizens through that program. What
do they learn there? Just the basics that they need to pass the test?
To pass the test, yes. So that's amazing in itself.
Do you have any sense, numbers-wise, how many people without documentation come in and use your library? Or once you get a library card, everybody's the same?
Everyone's the same. And that's what makes the library so, you know, I say it is one of the again, a democratic institution that provides equal access to everyone, no matter your ethnicity, your religion, your background, gender, sexual orientation. You have equal access to that information.
Well, I always I hung out in libraries as a kid because I love to read, and the way I also tell the story is, it was air conditioned. Yeah. And in the summer, no, my parents didn't believe in air conditioning.
Right.
But I grew up in Little Silver, small public library. Right. The Mrs. Ayers, who was the librarian when I was a kid, is still alive. She's about 90. Every now and then I communicate with her son who works at the Y. Nice. And but we were part of the county system, which Long Branch is not. But it was air conditioning. You could read all day. It was and the best part about it, it's free.
Yes. Yes.
All you got to do is bring the books back.
Yeah. Very true. Yes.
Now, we're going to take a break, but we'll talk more about this kind of stuff in the second half of the show.
Thank you.
The research here at St. Jude is very important. It gave my daughter a second chance at life.
Because we have donors that believe in what we're doing, we can really move our research forward much faster.
St. Jude is working to drive the overall survival rate for childhood cancer to 90% in the next decade. And we won't stop until no child dies from cancer.
Because of you. Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
All right, we're back for the second half of Community Connections with the director of the Long Branch Public Library. I mean, the number of programs over there are sort of mind-boggling. I mean, because again, I think a lot of people go and say, I'm going to go get a book. And then there's just tons of activity. Now, one of the things you've done is you've incorporated teenagers into
Absolutely.
the library.
Yeah. Being one of the hardest segments of the community to engage and welcome into the library, and libraries struggle with that all over the country. That's the population that we kind of, that we miss, you know.
Missing what do you mean?
Well, they don't come into the library.
And when they're there, they don't always know how to...
They don't know how, yeah, sometimes, you know, proper
Behavior's
library
questionable.
behavior is not
Right.
learned. So we really worked hard to bring the teens in to the library. That was very important. One of our goals was to create a thriving teen service, and we did. You know, we have done that today. We opened up a new teen zone located on the lower level.
That was about a year ago.
About a year ago, yes. We offer a teen program every single day. So every day that the library is open, we offer a teen program.
Give me an example of what a teen program is.
Well, our teen programming starts at 4 o'clock. The kids come in from school, and we offer teen tech time. So what that is we have laptops for the teens. We have 20 laptops, and the teens can come in for an hour and a half and get on the laptop. There's always a teen manager or a teen service staff member there to assist with homework and projects and whatever they need for that after school hours.
So some of these kids who may or may not have a computer in their house can come in, use a computer,
Yes.
do what they've got to do,
Yes.
and do it in a safe
In a safe
environment.
place, yes,
Where
yes.
they're expected to behave. Or,
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, because I do remember phone calls where kids are coming in not behaving. We need help.
Yes, well, and
That's a
when-
while ago, though.
Yeah,
I
that
wanna
was a
be clear
while
about
ago, and actually, you kind of see that cycle, because as I was reading the annual reports back from the 70s and the 60s, you saw directors that were saying the same thing. So you kind of saw that cycles where you'd get an inrush of teens, and then you'd kind of get the behavior issues. So what we did to address that was we launched the Youth Ambassador Program last year. And what that is really encourages teens to take responsibility for themselves, and that's what it's all about.
And how did you do that? Because I've got, we could all use, every parent I know could use a lesson in that.
Well, we have them engage and kind of take ownership of the space and of the library. You're invited to participate in the Youth Ambassador Program, and we provide incentives, which food always helps. So pizza or snacks. We provide after-school snacks. And movie tickets. Sometimes we'll offer movie tickets and
Movie
whatever.
tickets?
Yes, if you're very well behaved, or if you've read a certain amount of books. And we have requirements where you have to go through a library orientation, and the staff members have put together a curriculum that will show you how, you know, proper library behavior. We are no longer a quiet library. We're no longer, you know, where we used to be stereotyped, where we're the librarians that shh. Yeah, we don't do that. We have what I call an appropriate noise level floor, which is the main floor, and that's the bustling. You're not going to find anyone shushing you.
You walk in, you're looking for a book, you've got music, 'cause
Yes.
you got a lot of CDs.
Yes.
You've got a community room down there, so that's
Yes.
appropriate noise level.
Yeah, and that's your community floor. That's why
Okay.
we brought the computers up. Not one of the reasons we brought the computers up was because, you know, it's an interactive service, so you do have a lot of questions and people are talking, and that's fine. We have a meeting room up there where we do our adult community programs. So the lower level we've kind of separated out into a quiet study area to the right, and then to the left, which is an entire different part of the library, is our Teen Zone program. And that's where we offer the teen services, the teen programs, the teen tech time. Once teen tech time is finished, then we go into teen programming. So right after teen tech time, there's someone there that does, for instance, there's a debate club that runs once a month. There's a tween book club. There's a teen book club. Writing club, anime club. So there's something going on every single day for the teens there.
What kind of numbers do you get?
From the teen
Teen-
program.
yeah.
Last year we did 7,000 teens attendees from attending the program. And then we also, they work in conjunction with our children's program, because the children's room runs up to 6th grade, and then from 6th grade to high school is the teen
Children's room is
program.
also downstairs?
Children's room is our entire upper level.
3rd floor?
Yes, upper level. Beautiful, beautiful room.
Now, the building itself is really pretty cool. I mean, it's one of the, you know, goes back to about the early 1900s.
Early 1900s. Our centennial is coming up.
When?
100 years of service next next year in November. 100 years.
2016?
Yes, so we're planning for that.
Okay.
It is a Carnegie Library, so we are one of the last Carnegie libraries built through the Carnegie Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had renovations and additions to that
The
original
last big
Carnegie
one was what,
building.
about 10, 15 years ago now?
2004 was the last renovation that we
Shows
did.
my
yes.
memory is not what it was. No, I remember because there was a lot of work done then.
Was
And
a
the
lot of
library was
work.
actually closed for a while.
Closed for months, and I say we lived through it because it was the staff members that brought the books up and down in carts because our elevator service was out, so we put the library back together, which you're talking about 80,000 volumes, 80,000 books that were, and 10,000, I think we're up to 10,000 movies and 5,000 CDs. So-
Redid the whole HVAC system. I
Yes.
remember that was
Yes.
part of it. But the building itself, now, just for logistics, is the front entrance used anymore?
We just reopened that front entrance. It's a beautiful Carnegie entrance. It was closed for a good 10 years, and last year we opened the doors, and the feedback we got was just phenomenal from the community members that remember walking through those columns, you know, for their first library card.
It's a very
Really
impressive
is.
building.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And the Elberon Library, which was, and I'll mention him, the Nathan Fishman Room, because Nat, who was a very close friend of mine, up until his death a year and a half ago, there's a room named after him, but he was instrumental in getting that donated to the public library system.
Absolutely. I think that was 91, I want to say, 91, I think.
Might have been, the
Okay,
process
in that
started
time.
about then, and
Okay,
it took a little
yeah.
while before the actual closing took place. I don't remember exactly when, but it's a great place to just go pick out a book. It doesn't
yeah.
provide quite the same level of, it can't.
No, but it is a very well used library, especially in the summer when our summer residents come in. We open up the library more hours to accommodate our summer residents. And we've also created, in Mr. Fishman's honor, we've created the Nathan Fishman Legacy Program Series, because he used to do
The speakers.
meet the doctors, meet
Right.
the lawyer. I think he did meet the mayor. I think he did.
He probably did
Yeah.
once.
So to keep that and honor him, we've continued the Nathan Fishman Legacy.
Are you going to
Program
have the
series.
outdoor play again this summer?
Yes, the Shakespeare in the Park.
When do you know?
Absolutely.
Do you know when that is?
I don't have the date on hand, but we did secure it again for every year. Every year we try to get it. So.
Maybe one year conflicted with a council meeting, but now since I'm on TV, if you have it, I'll go to the play instead of the council.
It's a
meeting.
wonderful program.
Oh, it's great.
It's a wonderful program.
It's great.
Yes, yeah.
It's
It's entirely outside. It's in front of Elberon.
It's free?
It's free. Almost everything we do is free.
I mean,
Free
I
notary.
can't emphasize that enough to people who, I get. There's nothing in town for kids to do. That's a comment I hear. I said, do they have a library card?
That's right.
It's free, and I've never met a kid who couldn't use a little bit more reading.
And
life.
just going back to our children's floor and our children's program, again, there was over 450 programs offered just for children alone last year. 11,000 children attended the programs. So it is absolutely used. And I think a vital resource in the library, in the city. I always say we are the community anchor because we do provide those services, and almost just as in the case with the recession and the back to work services, we're able to tailor these services right to the community.
And of all the programs we've mentioned, high school degree, getting people back to work. You talked more about people with a criminal record, helping them get into the job market. But there's always been a jobs program there for people who just need help finding a job, putting
Yes.
together a resume,
Yes.
arranging to get to interviews. I remember some of that where I got an interview in Eatontown. I'm in Long Branch. I don't own a car. How do I get there?
Yeah.
You helped.
We link people with resources,
Right.
absolutely. We do job interview. Even we had classes on how to interview. We do free resume review, free resume writing. So if you come in, we have a database that we subscribe to that will help you put your resume together. And sometimes it can be intimidating for people that are transitioning back to work, stay-at-home moms or people that have been on assistance, to know how to fill in that gap on their resume. So what we do with the database is this database will walk you through this resume and kind of ask you, do you have gaps in your work history, and how can you fill that in, and how can you really sell yourself? One of the things that I'm working on that should be complete this year is getting back to the Fresh Start program. We're working on a database where it will include a welcome home kit what to do when you do finally come home from an incarceration or an arrest. So it'll have a welcome home kit. There will be a portal for information, a resource map on the resources that you can find in the community, and it will allow you to put your resume up and your story. So you're going to sell yourself and your skills, and not that tick on the box, which is what brought the Fresh Start program into existence, was that more and more people, as they were doing their applications in the computer lab, were checking yes when asked if they had a prior. And
the one piece of advice I always give is when you fill out a job application, be it for the city or someone else, you have to tell the truth.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because they'll find out, somebody will find
They
out
will
sooner or
find out,
later.
yes.
And you can be a great employee, but if you didn't tell the truth on your application or your resume, you're done.
You're asked to leave.
Yeah, and there's nothing anybody can do about that.
Yeah, no.
And everything you've just described is free.
Everything is free. The Fresh Start program is absolutely free. To get into a little bit of detail about that program, because we do, we encourage the community to come into the library and utilize that program. I've gotten stories back that are, they're just so inspirational. We've had people, men, women come in from the program that went through the Fresh Start program who went back to work. I remember a gentleman that came in, he didn't have his GED. And we were talking about it, and he said, "Oh, I'm 30. I don't need my GED now. It's too late." And I said, "Well, how old are you going to be next year? You're going to be 31 next year. So you want to be 31 without the GED, or do you want to try?" So he did. He applied for his GED, and he spoke about his dream going back to college. He went back to college for sustainable energy. He graduated, and now he's working full time. And he comes back in all the time with those stories that he went through this program.
And we've got less than a minute. What are you getting your doctorate in?
Public administration.
You're going to have a doctor. Okay. So what's next for you? Or are you just going to stay at the library for a while?
I'm going to stay at that library because, and I remember someone, and it was you, that said to me, when you talk about the library, you light up. You know that you love it. And I said, any job that you wake up in the morning and you would say to yourself, I would do this for free. Is
Free.
Is
There's
a
that word
reward.
again.
So,
Innovation and free.
yes.
Long Branch Public Library. Thank you very much.
Thank you.